Piaget's Cognitive Development Stage Theory by Zaria Powell, Marita Harrison, and Chantrice Rainey. Jean Piaget, Swiss psychologist who was the first to make the systematic study of the acquisition understanding in children. He is known as the major figure of developmental psychology of the 20th century. He was born August the 8th, 1896 in Switzerland. At the age of 11, he attended Neuchâtel High School. He went on to study zoology at Neuchâtel University, receiving his PhD. He began studying psychology under Carl Jung and Paul Eugene Bleuler at the University of Zurich. Piaget is known for his cognitive development theories in A Child Developmental Progress. He discussed 4 stages of development: sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operation, and formal operation. He concluded that factual knowledge should not be equated with intelligence or understanding because of the lack of experience.
Each time one prematurely teaches a child something that he could have discovered himself, that child is kept from inventing it and consequently from understanding it completely. A quote by Jean Piaget. Piaget's stages. So stage 1 is the sensory motor stage, ages 0 to 2. Stage 2 is the pre-operational stage, ages 2 through 7. Stage 3 is concrete operation stage, ages 7 through 11. And stage 4 is formal operation stage, ages 11 through 16. Stage 1, the sensory motor stage, from age 0 to 2 years old, is also known as the pre-language stage. It is important to the development of thought as it demonstrates intelligence prior to speech. The baby learns concepts through experiences such as space, time, intentionality, and causality. Stage 2 is the pre-operational stage, ages 2 through 7 years old. This is the stage where true language begins as the child breaks concepts down into categories. Thus, the child needs concrete representation, as the child has difficulty focusing on more than one thing at a time. Egocentrism is a characteristic of the pre-operational stage and is defined as the state of an individual who cannot see each other's viewpoints. Thus, the child is unable to understand how another person's ideas differ from theirs.
All right, stage 3 is the concrete operation stage, which is ages 7 to 11 years old. So while children are still very concrete and literal in their thinking at this point in development, they do become more adept at using logic. Also, they understand conservation. For example, they start to understand that the amount of liquid in a short, wide cup is equal to that in a tall, skinny glass. And lastly, during this stage, children also become less egocentric, and they begin to think about how other people might think and feel. The final stage is the formal operational stage, which is ages 12 and up. And this theory involves an increase in logic, the ability to use deductive reasoning, and an understanding of abstract ideas, which is the key hallmark of this stage. The ability to systematically plan for the future and reason about hypothetical situations are also critical abilities that emerge during this stage. So teens begin to think more about moral, philosophical, ethical, social, and political issues.
Applying Piaget's theories in the classroom. The need for active learning. Educators increase active participation in their classrooms to create meaningful experiences that align with the students' developmental stages. As stated by Piaget in the quote a couple slides earlier, students mature at different rates, so it's important to know that all of your students' developmental stages may be different, even though they're in the same grade level. So it's important to, and the educator's use of his developmental models, Piaget's developmental theory can help educators with instructional decision making. So it'll help educators know what to teach, when to teach, how to teach, the scope of teaching, the sequencing of teaching, the appropriate content readiness, and how the student's development can relate to the complexity of the subjects taught.
Pros and cons of Piaget's theory. Piaget theory has a huge impact on education. Some of the pros: most educational programs believe that children should be taught on their level of readiness. Piaget's cognitive theory increases children's ability to communicate. Based on Piaget's theory, there has been an increased study in child development. Some of the cons: some methods weren't reliable and they felt that they were biased. Research was done on his children. Some children possess the ability of higher developmental stage at an early age than believed. And by this, if going back to stage 1, a child may be 2, but she may be functioning on the pre-operational stage. So they may reach another stage earlier than anticipated. Some children belong in more than one stage and view others' perspectives, not only egocentric. So back to what I was saying, that some state where they say more than one stages, some child may be developed in more than one stage at a time. So even though a 0 to 2 is the beginning stage, they may be functioning on an operational stage, pre-operational stage.
So overall, Piaget did not view children's intellectual development as a quantitative process, which means that they don't just add on more information and knowledge to their existing knowledge as they get older, but he suggests that there is a qualitative change in how children think as they gradually process through these 4 stages. This is our reference page. Thank you so much. And do we have any questions?